Don't put your number. Don't put your number.
I'm not putting my number. I'm putting your number.
That's my room.
Okay, put my number.
I'm hungry.
Okay, well, don't be such a baby. I cooked you some bacon for a trail snack.
I ate it already.
What flavor coffee is that? Up Dog?
What's that?
I don't know. Nothing. What's up with you?
It's the Al Travis Show. We've got a good friend of the program on. We don't see him anywhere near enough. John Knaus. John, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing terrific. How are you, Al?
You know, I'm okay. It's kind of the timing, I suppose. Usually not a lot going on in the state of Minnesota about this time. Session's not in. You know, we're kind of in that doldrums with the Twins. You a Twins fan?
Good enough. You know, I don't think I could name one of the players right now.
Well, nobody can. That was going to be my next question. What were your thoughts on the Bloody Thursday when they just got rid of 40% of the whole team? Was that all right by you, average listener or watcher?
Well, you're probably not going to win a lot that way, but you got to watch the budgets. You know, about the budgets, and you know,
All right, and they got to run their business where they run their business, but it did hurt if you want me to watch any more this year. Right. For folks who don't know, you wrote the book, The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America. Find it all over in Amazon. I got the link connected here. I was thinking of all the books. We do a lot of books on here. In its category, I mean, I want to say that I've talked with Richard Battle quite a little bit. For a history book, I really enjoy his history books, fun and easy to read. But this is probably the best book I've read in a couple of years, as far as just the style, what it has to say. I don't know if it's light reading, because it makes you think. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate this book very, very much. And I thank you for coming on to talk about it. That's how we got you here. Maybe the problem with politics is your chapter 2.
Yeah.
That's what I want to talk to you about today. Quick history for us, so folks who are tuning in, as we get new stations all the time. By the way, quick plug, KWLM, Wilmer comes on Monday, so we're going to appreciate all the folks that join us. Your boss, one of your bosses, someone you work with, when you wrote the book, said, hey, you know, Al Travis is on there, you should, and I went to school with him, and he connected us up, and I appreciate him for doing that. But your real history is basically you grew up in a Democratic household, right? You're a Democrat through and through.
Absolutely. Or was.
Or was. And so when I was reading your book, it hit me that you and I are the same guy from the other side of the coin.
Right.
You grew up, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat. Wait a minute, what happened to the Democrats? The Democrats I grew up with, the things we thought don't seem to be the norm anymore. And I'm going to tell you that's the same thing on my side. We've gotten to a point where it doesn't look recognizable, politics in Minnesota. And is that fair analogy of your life?
100%.
All right. Here's the topic I want to talk about today. And again, it's the problems with politics. We heard last week that there was a problem in the Housing Stability Act in Minnesota. Most of what is that? In 2020, we put $2.6 million aside. Mm-hmm. Going to help people that are having problems finding housing. Okay. I imagine Democrats think that's a wonderful thing. Republican guy, Al, like, we can help a homeless person. I'm not yelling. John, from 2020 to 24, that same program went from $2.6 million to $104 million. They thought there was 8,300 folks we could help. It's up to 21,000. And the federal government comes in last week and says, we're going to look at this program because they did it through Medicaid, so they got their nose in there. As soon as they mention it, John, we shut it down. Minnesota said, we're not even going to look. We close it down. According to the U.S. attorney that's in charge of this, he believes almost 100% of this program was fraudulent. It was just us giving money to somebody else. When's enough, John? Every time they ask us for something, it's like, yeah, it sounds like a good thing, we should. And we just hand it to somebody else.
This is the question, and this is why, chapter 2, the problem with politics, this is why it's a problem, because we need to be questioning, we need to be discussing this and searching answers. And I know on the Democratic Party side, the most frustrating thing for me is I think they have a big branding problem. I call them the Mary Poppins Mafia. And what I mean by the Mary Poppins Mafia is the typical Democrat that I'm running into and the typical Democratic supporter says, hey, we're like Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. And if you dare question us, we could make sure that your body is
Never
not found. And I just
That's funny.
Healthy branding. And that's the experience I've had. It's like, you do not question this or you could go disappear.
Well, and that's kind of where we're at. And I keep bringing up my list because I actually wrote it down so I forget. We had the Feeding Our Futures, child care fraud, adult daycare fraud, Minnesotism, autism clinic fraud, medical transportation fraud, this now. And it seems to be the same. And this is where I want to talk about the politicians of this. I get bad guys will do bad things, but almost all of these are stealing from us in the same very easy manner. Autism fraud. Oh, I saw Billy the kid. I saw him 17 times this week. Send me money. No one checks to see if he did. Here's your money. This housing fraud. Oh, I talked to a homeless guy on the street. I promise I did. I talked to him for 150 hours at $70 an hour. Send me my money. And we did. No verification, no anything. And all of these frauds are done the same way. It leads me, conspiracy guy Al here, to believe the people making the laws are okay with that. That we think it's the name of the program is good, give them the money, everyone will play nice, I promise. How do you not verify? Am I crazy?
No, you're not. And, I think the typical person, whether it's Republican or Democrat, should be absolutely outraged. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Last week, I helped out at my Berkeley Honda job here for some overtime.
By the way, give them the shout out because they let you do this during the hour. Berkeley Honda, where's their ad? Give them a shout out because they're fantastic. Let you do this for me.
It's Berkeley Honda, like Berkeley College, at 3360 White Bear Avenue in White Bear Lake.
Fantastic organization. Go stop there and get your car today. Okay, thank you.
You bet. Got to always get the plug in. But so I worked 65 hours last week, and then I also worked a couple shifts at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing that to pay my bills, to help my family, and to pay the taxes. The taxes have gotten outrageous. And not once did I see Tim Walz come in and help me wash dishes at the grocery store or drive cars. Or any of these politicians, even a Republican politician. Nobody came and helped me, but they can take all that money and then their supporters will lecture me and belittle me if I say I object to it. I asked a friend who's a veteran, I said, what if I could fraudulently get veterans benefits? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
And outraged. Why would you do that? I'm a veteran. That's insulting. Well, all this stuff is insulting to me. It should be insulting to everybody.
Here's what gets me, because we don't find out about this stuff until it's being taken from us. But this program we're talking about, John, you could have easily, instead of having the second job, I'm not trying to talk you out of leaving Berkeley, by the way, but you could have set up John's homeless guy conversations, send it to the state of Minnesota, and I don't know what you make there. Maybe you're making $70 an hour. I don't know. But, John, they said, we'll pay you $70 an hour. That's lawyer pay to go talk to any homeless person and try to talk them, give them the options they can find housing. This sounds wonderful until you find out, John, each and every homeless person you can talk to for 150 hours. John, you and I are both talkers.
Yeah.
I could not talk to you about the 2-3 programs that are possibly out there for homeless people for 150 hours. No one was doing it. There's not enough conversation to be had, but we set it up. So now, John, guess what? You didn't do one. You did 5 of these guys all at the same time, John.
Yeah,
you don't see that ripe for fraud? Why is John working his butt off?
Yeah. I could go out and start a program, like you said. When I was in college, I took a homeless guy to Carl's Jr. for breakfast.
There you go.
For a paper, to try to experience the other side or whatever. And it was just a total disaster. I really
never quite goes as like
nothing about it,
Well, in this case, my point is you don't have to do anything. John, you could have started an LLC real quick for $35, sent it into the state and said, I'm doing this. And as long as you were sending in check, bills, They're writing checks. They went up to the two people they could find that were home and said, did you talk to this guy? He said, well, he asked my name and number, and he walked away. That guy claimed he paid 150 hours of time with these guys. We need to expect more out of our politicians, and I think that goes for both sides. Neither my side or yours, when this thing got set up, said, wait a minute, who can talk for 150 hours about this? This is ridiculous. Why is it $70 an hour? Lawyers aren't getting paid that. You know what I'm saying, John? This was set up for fraud, and I think we have the right to be mad at both sides. I'm mad at mine. Somebody should have told me. Why am I finding about it now?
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for Tim Wallace to come out help me wash dishes. But
yeah, at any time. And I'm telling you right now, you got to. What they should do is when they're putting these things together so horribly, send out a letter to those regular guys like you and I and say, hey, so you get on the front end of this, pretend you're talking to people, send us bills. We're going to send you checks. Then you can give up your other part-time job. I got to go to break. When I come back, I want to know if John Knaus, the guy who wrote The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America by John Knaus, go pick this thing up, if you believe there's been a change. Stephen Colbert, Howard Stearns, all getting let go. We'll talk about that with John next on The Al Travis Show.
Dust from gravel roads and driveways does more than make your car dirty inside and out. It gets down into your lungs, and it's bad for your health. Now there's an environmentally friendly solution for your dust problems. It's called Dust Lock. Dust Lock can control all your summer dust problems with just one application. Protect your vehicle and your lungs. Learn more at dustlock.com.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
Just love this next cat. He's John Knaus. He wrote The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America. Pick it up. It is a fantastic book. I'm telling you right now. You seem to be a character, John, who looks at life differently than most. You seem to see the subtle differences in people and how they change. Are we seeing that now? Are we ahead of that curve? Colbert got canceled. Now, John, side note quick. If they ever decide to get rid of you at Berkeley Honda,
okay,
and they say you're gone, are they giving you a year to leave? They got rid of Colbert, said, what, a year from now, keep the $20 million you're going to make this year so he can get his finances in order, I suppose. That's not the way it works for the rest of us.
No, I think if they got rid of me, they'd drive me over to the Quick Trip station and
have a good day, John.
Yep.
So Colbert gets let go, and everybody has this cow about it. Now, when you read up, he's losing some $40 million a year for I don't know how long you can live like that. Okay, he did pick one side. I'm a big fan. You can pick any side you want, but if it doesn't pay for itself, that's on you. So he gets let go. A couple weeks later, Stearns is canceled from whatever the satellite company. Is this the start of something changing? That if you're going to be mean to only one side, you're going to have to pay those consequences? Because you and I are old enough to remember Johnny Carson, Jay Leno said these things just ripped whoever they could rip on and make a good joke.
You know, the business has changed so much since the Carson and Leno days because they could pick on both sides. You know, you could have a scandal with Richard Nixon, or you could have Gerald Ford falling down or whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody could have a good chuckle at it. And whether you were Democrat or Republican, you didn't get bruised feelings and things like this. And I heard, they played a segment, I heard of what Howard Stern was saying, that he was mad not at Trump, but at Trump voters. And he just kind of really insulting. And now I'll admit, this last election cycle, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted the other way, but with grave reservations. And I wanted to change the system. But things like what Howard Stern was saying, that's not going to get me. That's not going to keep me in his camp. You know, that's going to keep people away. And like I said, that's the branding problem the Democrats have, is this like Mary Poppins Mafia thing. And they're just, you know, we're perfect, don't question, or we'll go after you and you'll disappear. And I don't think, you know, they may go the way of Kmart if they're not careful.
Well, and none of this is a straight line, but my point being is that Colbert and Stearns, who say these things, are being let go, and you're thinking, oh, maybe we're all waking up that we've got to get back toward the middle. But then I ask you your thoughts. The guy that's leading the city, the mayor in New York, devout socialist, communist even, and you have one in Minneapolis running as well that is a socialist. Where is your Democratic Party waking up, or is it moving even further left, or will we not know till the votes come in?
I'm afraid it's moving further to the left, because all the pushback, when you see all the pushback on the fraud, you know, there's all this pushback on the fraud. Well, we're going to be kicking people off Medicare or whatever. And it's like, okay, so I get veterans benefits fraudulently and you kick me off. Is everybody going to rally in the streets for that? I would get veterans benefits in the first place.
That is a great point. And then when you look at it, I'm a mean right winger. I understand this, but I have no problem if you are of age and can work. You must at least try to get work or go do some freelance, charity work if you're going to get a check from us. I don't find that pushing a terrible button. And then if you're not here legally, I'm sorry, we're not paying for it. I don't have a problem, but I'm a mean Republican. It seems strange that, John, you can say that with your Democratic background.
Well, the thing I look at is, so I worked 65 hours last week. So let's say I lost everything. The government took away everything. I don't have a penny to my name. Should I just steal a six-pack from the liquor store and get a hammock and tie it up in the park and say, I'm poor, take care of me, everybody, and not work and just lay there all day? I still can contribute something to society. I can do volunteer work. I can work a job, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think this business of what's going on in New York with Mondami, or I hope I didn't say that wrong. if we put everything in a big bucket and we're all going to share,
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it work.
See, that's the biggest part. Well, then people say, well, we haven't tried this form of socialism yet. It never flies. People, I got to fly. John, you know I love having you on. I thank your boss, Berkeley Honda, for letting you do this. The book's The Leftover Soul, Pondering Life in Modern America by John Knaus. Pick it up. It's just so much fun to know that, it's fun, maybe the wrong word. It's so nice to know there are guys like you on your side and guys like me on mine that know we can get along because you're a good cat. You want to do the best for you and your family. We just look at things differently, but we can still be friends. I appreciate you, John.
God bless, Al. Thanks for having me on.
John Knaus on the Al Travis Show.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your